What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're starting a brand new preparation marathon, The Grudge. One of the very few horror franchises out there that I've never actually seen. At most, I've seen maybe bits and pieces of this one on TV, but honestly, that's about it. In a few weeks, the 2019 film will be released to digital, and yeah, I realized that it wasn't received very well, but there's no such thing as bad advertising, right? So I wanted to see if this somewhat popular American remake of a notorious Japanese horror franchise is as profitable as I imagine it is, or if it's bootless. So let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day: bootless, useless, or unprofitable. The Grudge centers on a young American caregiver working in Tokyo who is sent on an assignment to care for an elderly woman when her typical nurse doesn't show up to work. When she arrives at the house, she immediately realizes that things are not as they should be when she finds a young boy trapped in a closet upstairs. Things rapidly begin to worsen when she learns of the curse of the Grudge. One thing that I wanted to find out while watching this movie is a sense of understanding as to how it's considered a classic, iconic horror franchise. I knew going in that it was based off of this huge popular series in Japan that they're still making, and someday I hope to check out that series, but I was depending on this Americanized version to educate me on the lore of The Grudge. And here's what I discovered. I somewhat understand how many consider it to be iconic. The look of the ghosts, or the creatures, I guess you could call them, is iconic. The sound, especially. That's also pretty darn iconic, and I feel as if the curse, or the lore, also has a lot of potential there too. The whole, when a person dies in extreme agony or sadness, that feeling remains and brings death at its wake. I like that, but I don't think this film did the best job at signaling in on that lore. Instead, it focuses a lot on jump scares. 2004 jump scares at that, so you get a lot of shots of this confused looking ghost every few seconds and a lot of that guttural sound that it makes. But when you stop and think, the ghost does a lot of stuff without much logic. You might start asking yourself, well, why is this ghost here doing this specifically right now? You'll probably come up empty-handed quite a bit. Because that's what you get when you have a story that relies so heavily on jump scares. And like I said, 2004 jump scares are handled a lot differently than they are today, and it's not a better different. I'll put it this way, the best parts of this film I feel like were just stolen directly from the Ju-On Grudge series, even though I haven't seen that series and I can't say for sure. It's the same feeling that I had when I saw Terminator Genisys for the first time. The best shots in Terminator Genisys were basically stolen from the first Terminator film that James Cameron shot. So even though I haven't seen the original Grudge movies, the stuff in this film that stands out as being almost scary is so much different from everything else in the movie that I can only imagine is basically a direct copy-paste job from the source. In general, I think the tone of the film kind of goes back and forth from mostly being nothing scary at all to sometimes, I don't know, creepy. So I can understand how The Grudge is supposed to be iconic, but this isn't the movie that made it iconic. I wanted to like it though, because when it comes down to horror films, my favorite subgenre is paranormal and ghosts and things like that, and this is essentially just a haunted house tale, but it's told a little bit differently. Plus, coming right off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sarah Michelle Gellar was a perfect choice for this horror role, and also Sam Raimi is known to be a horror director, so all the pieces were certainly in place, but it just didn't get me. It didn't grab me. None of it did. And a part of that is the editing. Flashbackception, where they have flashbacks upon flashbacks inside other flashbacks in an effort to explain the film as if it's a mystery. And truthfully, I wasn't curious as I normally would be for a mystery, because I didn't care what started this story, what made the curse that much. I cared more about what they were going to do about it once it started. And that's not really touched on that much in this movie. So for me, I felt like this film was a bit of a mess, which doesn't look good for the other films, because that's what I've been hearing about the new film, that it's a mess. So are all the movies going to be a mess then? I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But until then, my score for this first American Grudge film was a 49%, 49 out of 100 possible star rating, granting it the failing letter grade of F. You know, they made a big poop about the new Grudge film receiving an F score on CinemaScore, which apparently is really rare. Please, I rate movies F all the freaking time. Anyways, guys, are you a fan of this film? Let me know in the comments down below if this film scared your pants off. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review and would like to see others like it. Hit the thumbs up button, because that always helps out my channel. And don't you dare forget about the little bell icon, because that helps notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace!